The 48 Digital Laws of Power in the Age of AI. Strategic Influence, Control, and Dominance in the Algorithmic World. By Dr. Farooq Baloch. Preface. Power in the Age of Algorithms. Power has never disappeared. It has only changed its shape. In ancient kingdoms, power was visible. It sat on thrones, wore crowns, commanded armies, and controlled land. In industrial societies, power moved into factories, banks, and institutions. In the late 20th century, it shifted toward corporations, media houses, and financial systems. Today, in 2026, power has migrated again into something quieter, more invisible, and far more pervasive. Algorithms. Data. Artificial intelligence. We now live in an era where decisions about what we see, what we believe, what we buy, and even who we become are influenced by digital systems operating beneath the surface of our awareness. Recommendation engines determine our exposure. AI models shape narratives. Search algorithms rank truth. Platforms reward some voices and bury others. Influence is no longer merely human, it is computational. This book was written because the rules of power have changed. Not disappeared. Changed. Many professionals, students, entrepreneurs, and leaders continue to operate using outdated assumptions. They believe power still functions primarily through hierarchy, position, or formal authority. They underestimate the silent architecture of digital systems. They compete emotionally instead of strategically. They chase visibility without understanding the mechanisms that create it. In the algorithmic age, ignorance of digital power structures is vulnerability. This book does not teach manipulation. It teaches awareness. It does not promote unethical dominance. It promotes strategic intelligence. It does not glorify control over people. It explains control within systems. Power today is not merely about commanding others. It is about understanding how systems amplify, restrict, reward, and suppress. It is about mastering leverage rather than force. It is about influence that scales beyond physical presence. It is about positioning oneself within technological ecosystems that operate continuously, globally, and autonomously. In my years as a professor of management, researcher of organizational systems, and observer of digital transformation, I have witnessed a profound shift. Talented individuals struggle because they misunderstand visibility. Intelligent professionals fail because they lack distribution. Ethical leaders collapse because they underestimate narrative control. Meanwhile, strategically positioned actors with moderate skill but strong system awareness dominate industries. This asymmetry is not accidental. It is structural. The 48 digital laws presented in this book are not historical anecdotes reinterpreted. They are strategic principles derived from observing how power operates within. Artificial intelligence systems. Digital platforms. Corporate governance structures. Online attention economies. Data-driven markets. Network-based communities. Each law reflects a transformation from physical power to digital leverage, from information scarcity to information overload, from centralized authority to algorithmic amplification. We must understand a critical reality. In the age of AI, power is increasingly indirect. You may not command armies. You may not own media channels. You may not sit in political office. Yet, if you understand systems, you can influence at scale. A single individual with strategic clarity, digital tools, and AI leverage can now build influence that once required institutions. A well-designed automated system can outperform entire departments. A narrative positioned correctly within algorithmic structures can reshape perception across continents. But this environment is not neutral. Algorithms reward consistency. Platforms reward engagement. Markets reward speed. Audiences reward identity alignment. and systems punish ignorance. This book is an intellectual framework for navigating this terrain. Each law is constructed to provoke strategic reflection. Some may challenge your assumptions. Others may confirm instincts you already sensed but never articulated. Together, they form a map, not of domination over others, but of positioning within power structures that increasingly govern economic, social, and professional life. Ethics remains central. Power without ethics is instability. Influence without integrity collapses over time. Long-term dominance requires trust architecture. Sustainable authority requires reputation capital. Digital power, once damaged, is difficult to restore. Therefore, strategic intelligence must coexist with moral discipline. We must also confront a paradox. Artificial intelligence amplifies power inequalities while simultaneously democratizing opportunity. Tools once reserved for corporations are now accessible to individuals. Automation can liberate creativity or eliminate employment. Data can empower decision-making or erode privacy. Those who learn the laws will navigate this paradox consciously. Those who ignore them will become subjects of systems they never studied. You are reading this book not to become manipulative, but to become aware. To see beneath the interface. To understand the incentives shaping behavior. To anticipate structural shifts before they disrupt you. To build influence responsibly. To construct systems that outlast trends. The 48 digital laws are organized across 6 domains. Algorithmic awareness. Strategic positioning. Psychological influence. Economic and structural power. Defensive power. Long-term dominance and legacy. This structure mirrors the evolution of power itself, from understanding the environment, to positioning within it, to influencing effectively, to building durable systems. As you progress through these laws, reflect on your own digital footprint. Examine your professional positioning. Analyze your dependencies on platforms. Consider how much of your visibility is controlled externally. Evaluate whether you are building assets or merely producing output. In the industrial era, workers sold labor. In the information era, professionals sold expertise. In the AI era, the strategic sell systems. The future will not be dominated by those who work the hardest. It will be shaped by those who design leverage intelligently. Power in 2026 is subtle. It is embedded in code, metrics, engagement signals, data models, platform policies, and digital narratives. It rewards patience and punishes impulsivity. It amplifies clarity and exposes inconsistency. To ignore this reality is to operate blindly. To understand it is to gain strategic advantage. This book is an invitation to intellectual discipline. To move from emotional reaction to structural thinking. To shift from visibility chasing to system building. To replace randomness with design. To transform ambition into architecture. The algorithmic age does not eliminate power. It decentralizes it, disguises it, accelerates it, and embeds it into everyday interactions. The question is not whether power exists. The question is whether you understand how it now operates. Law 1. Never compete with the algorithm, master it. Power in the digital age does not begin with talent. It begins with visibility. And visibility in 2026 is not determined by effort alone. It is determined by algorithms. Most people misunderstand the environment in which they operate. They believe they are competing against other professionals, other businesses, or other creators. In reality, they are competing for algorithmic preference. The gatekeeper is no longer a king, an editor, a banker, or a minister. It is a system of coded instructions optimized for engagement, retention, and monetization. If you compete with people while ignoring the algorithm, you are fighting the wrong battle. If you master the algorithm, people become secondary. The invisible ruler. Every major platform, search engines, social networks, marketplaces, streaming services, operates through algorithmic systems. These systems determine what content is shown, who receives distribution, which businesses gain exposure, which narratives trend, which individuals gain influence. The algorithm is not emotional. It does not care about your degrees, your intentions, your effort, or your sincerity. It responds to patterns. It rewards measurable signals. It amplifies consistency. Many intelligent individuals fail not because they lack skill, but because they lack algorithmic awareness. They create without studying distribution. They publish without studying timing. They speak without studying audience behavior. They compete with peers while the system silently buries them. Power belongs to those who understand system incentives. Competing with people is a limited strategy. In traditional environments, competition was human-centered. You studied your rival's strengths, weaknesses, pricing, and positioning. In the digital ecosystem, however, competition is multi-layered. The platform mediates exposure before your audience even evaluates you. Two professionals may possess equal knowledge. One understands algorithmic signals, the other does not. The first gains reach. The second remains invisible. The difference is not intelligence. It is structural awareness. The algorithm evaluates watch time, engagement rate, click-through behavior, retention patterns, interaction consistency, network effects. If you do not design for these signals, you are competing blindly. Mastery begins when you stop asking, how do I beat others? And start asking, how does the system decide who wins? Algorithmic literacy is modern power. To master the algorithm, you must develop algorithmic literacy. This includes understanding platform incentives. Platforms prioritize revenue, user retention, and engagement. Align your strategy with these objectives. Studying behavioral patterns, observe what keeps audiences engaged. Structure your communication accordingly. Optimizing structure, not just content. A powerful idea poorly structured loses. A structured message aligned with system logic spreads. Embracing data feedback. Metrics are not vanity signals. They're intelligence signals. They reveal system response. Consistency as leverage. Algorithms reward predictability. Sporadic brilliance is weaker than disciplined consistency. The algorithm is not your enemy. It is a force multiplier if understood. The psychological resistance to systems. Many professionals resist system thinking. They prefer authenticity without optimization. They see algorithmic awareness as manipulation. This is a misunderstanding. Mastering systems is not manipulation. It is adaptation. In nature, organisms adapt to environments. In the digital ecosystem, the environment is algorithmic. Refusing to adapt does not preserve integrity. It ensures obscurity. Ethics and optimization can coexist. You may deliver value and still design intelligently. You may teach honestly and still structure strategically. You may lead ethically and still understand amplification mechanics. Power belongs to those who reconcile principle with precision. Case study: the hidden multiplier. Consider two educators launching identical courses online. Educator A uploads content irregularly, uses random titles, ignores audience retention, does not analyze engagement. Educator B studies search behavior, structures content in digestible formats, designs strong openings to maintain retention, publishes consistently, reviews performance metrics. Within months, Educator B gains exponential reach. Did Educator B manipulate? No. Educator B aligned with structural incentives. In the age of AI, alignment with systems is dominance. The algorithm rewards design. The algorithm is not impressed by effort. It is impressed by design. Design includes strong openings, clear value propositions, emotional triggers, structured progression, engagement prompts, predictable publishing cadence. In physical markets, location determines success. In digital markets, structure determines success. If you ignore design, you surrender influence. AI has intensified the battlefield. Artificial intelligence has increased both competition and opportunity. AI-generated content floods platforms. Automation enables rapid production. The volume of material competing for attention has multiplied. In such an environment, average execution is invisible. Mastery now requires differentiation, authority positioning, systematic branding, narrative clarity, platform diversification. The algorithm rewards signals of authority and trust. Repetition builds recognition. Recognition builds credibility. Credibility builds amplification. Mastery is cumulative. The strategic shift from content creator to system architect. Many individuals think they are creators. The powerful become architects. Creators focus on output. Architects focus on distribution channels, audience psychology, retention patterns, conversion pathways, long-term ecosystem control. Architects understand that the algorithm is not a barrier. It is infrastructure. Instead of asking, why is the algorithm unfair, they ask, what pattern is the system rewarding? The first complains. The second dominates. Warning: never depend on one algorithm. Mastery does not mean dependency. Platforms evolve. Algorithms change. Policies shift. Those who build entirely on a single system risk collapse. Strategic power requires diversified platforms, owned assets, email lists, communities, proprietary data, cross-channel integration, brand independence. Master the algorithm, but do not become enslaved by it. Control what you can own. The ethical dimension. Understanding algorithmic systems grants influence. Influence must be guided by responsibility. Short-term manipulation, clickbait, outrage tactics, artificial engagement may produce temporary growth. However, long-term authority requires trust, consistency, value, reputation integrity. Digital power magnifies both success and error. Design responsibly. The core insight. In the algorithmic age, you do not rise because you are the best. You rise because you are structurally optimized. The invisible ruler does not sleep. It does not reward intention. It rewards signals. If you master those signals, you gain leverage beyond traditional hierarchy. Competing with individuals limits your vision. Competing within systems expands your reach. Strategic exercise. Reflect on your current digital presence. Do you understand what metrics drive your visibility? Are you designing for retention or merely publishing? Are you studying patterns or operating randomly? Do you own any digital assets independent of platforms? Power begins with awareness. Master the algorithm, and you gain amplification. Ignore it, and you compete in darkness. This is the first law because without system mastery, none of the remaining laws can function effectively. In the age of AI, visibility is engineered. Influence is structured. Power is algorithmic. Learn the system. Then shape it. Law 2. Control data before data controls you. In the industrial era, power belonged to those who owned land. In the financial era, power shifted to those who controlled capital. In the information era, power moved to those who managed knowledge. In the age of AI, power belongs to those who control data. Data is no longer a byproduct of activity. It is the core asset around which influence, automation, personalization, and predictive intelligence are built. Every click, every transaction, every interaction generates informational residue. That residue is analyzed, modeled, and used to shape future behavior. If you do not control your data, someone else will control the narrative about you. Data as structural power. Artificial intelligence does not operate in abstraction. It feeds on data. Algorithms learn from patterns. Systems optimize based on input. The more data an entity possesses, the more accurately it can predict, influence, and automate outcomes. This creates asymmetry. Organizations with superior data predict consumer behavior, optimize pricing dynamically, anticipate market shifts, personalize persuasion, automate operational decisions. Individuals without data awareness become predictable. Predictability reduces strategic advantage. To control data is to control foresight, the hidden mechanism of influence. Most digital users believe they are making autonomous choices. Yet recommendation systems shape options before choices are made. Targeted advertising anticipates desire before it becomes conscious. Predictive models determine eligibility, ranking, and exposure. Data is not merely stored information. It is behavioral intelligence. Whoever possesses your behavioral intelligence can shape what you see, influence what you consider, frame what you believe, filter what you access. This is not conspiracy. It is architecture. The architecture is built on data. Personal data as strategic asset. Many professionals treat personal data casually. They post freely, register carelessly, subscribe without evaluation. They build audiences on platforms they do not own. They produce content without retaining analytics independently. This is strategic vulnerability. Controlling data means owning your audience channels, email lists, private communities, proprietary databases. These are assets independent of platform algorithms. Monitoring behavioral metrics, understanding how your audience interacts with your work gives you leverage over future design. Protecting sensitive information data breaches damage reputation and trust. Security is power preservation. Collecting insights, intentionally surveys, engagement analysis, and structured feedback provide competitive intelligence. When you control data, you control direction. Corporate power and data monopolies. Large technology companies derive dominance not solely from innovation, but from data accumulation. The more users they serve, the more data they collect. The more data they collect, the more precise their systems become. Precision improves user experience, which attracts more users. This is a feedback loop of power. Data intelligence optimization market dominance more data. Breaking into such ecosystems without strategic differentiation is difficult. Competing directly is inefficient. Instead, strategic actors. Identify niche datasets. Build specialized communities. Create unique informational value. Develop microecosystems. Power does not require massive data. It requires relevant data. Data without interpretation is weak. Data alone does not produce power. Interpretation produces power. Raw metrics are numbers. Analyzed metrics are insight. Insight becomes strategy. Many organizations collect enormous amounts of information, but fail to extract meaning. They track performance without identifying patterns. They observe trends without redesigning systems. True data control requires analytical capacity. In the AI age, literacy in data interpretation becomes leadership capital. The danger of data dependency. There is another dimension to this law. When you rely entirely on external platforms for analytics, you become dependent on their reporting structures. They decide what metrics are visible. They decide what signals matter. They decide which behaviors are incentivized. Strategic power requires partial independence. Maintain internal records. Build proprietary insights. Avoid total reliance on platform dashboards. If the system changes tomorrow, You must retain intelligence about your audience. Predictive power. The most advanced application of data is prediction. Predictive models anticipate. Customer churn. Market volatility. Content performance. Behavioral shifts. Financial risk. Prediction reduces uncertainty. Reduced uncertainty increases power. In business, prediction improves allocation of resources. In leadership, prediction strengthens decision-making. In influence, prediction sharpens persuasion. Those who predict effectively move before disruption becomes visible. Ethical responsibility. Data control carries ethical weight. Surveillance capitalism, intrusive targeting, privacy erosion, these are consequences of unchecked data exploitation. Strategic actors must balance power with responsibility. Ethical data governance includes transparency, consent, security, fair usage, respect for autonomy. Long-term influence depends on trust architecture. Data abuse destroys credibility. Power that violates dignity is unstable. Individual strategy, becoming data-aware. You do not need to be a data scientist to apply this law. Begin by tracking performance patterns consistently, studying which behaviors drive response, documenting audience evolution, evaluating trends across time, identifying predictive indicators. Small datasets, when structured intelligently, generate significant advantage. Even a simple system of disciplined observation can outperform reactive decision-making. The strategic insight. If you do not measure, you guess. If you guess, you react. If you react, you surrender initiative. Controlling data transforms reaction into anticipation. In the algorithmic world, intelligence is continuous. Systems learn daily. Markets adapt hourly. Attention shifts instantly. Without structured data awareness, you operate blindly. Control the data relevant to your domain before others extract value from it. Because once external systems define you through data patterns, you become an input, not an architect. Reflective questions. What data about your work do you currently own? What insights can you extract from your patterns? Are you building independent informational assets? Do you understand the behavioral signals driving your growth or decline? Power in the AI age is not loud. It is informational. Own your data. Interpret your data. Protect your data. Or risk becoming shaped by data you never controlled. Law 3. Attention is the new currency. In previous centuries, wealth was measured in gold. In modern economies, it is measured in capital. In the age of AI, it is measured in attention. You may possess knowledge, skill, credentials, and integrity, but without attention, you possess limited influence. Attention is the gateway to opportunity. It precedes trust. It precedes conversion. It precedes authority. If no one sees you, your power remains theoretical. In 2026, attention is the scarcest resource on Earth. The economics of attention. Human cognitive capacity is finite. Digital content supply is infinite. This imbalance has created a competitive battlefield where attention, not information, determines value. The attention economy operates on a simple principle. Where attention flows, money follows. Where money flows, power accumulates. Platforms monetize engagement. Businesses monetize visibility. Leaders monetize recognition. The algorithm amplifies what captures sustained focus. In this environment, understanding attention mechanics is a strategic imperative. Attention is measured, not assumed. Attention today is quantified through watch time, click-through rate, scroll behavior, session duration, engagement intensity, interaction depth. The algorithm rewards retention, not mere exposure. A viral headline with low retention collapses. A strong opening with high retention multiplies. Mastery of attention is not about shouting louder. It is about holding focus longer. The shift from information to engagement. There was a time when access to information created power. Today, information is abundant. Search engines answer questions instantly. AI systems summarize knowledge in seconds. What differentiates influence now is engagement quality. Engagement is built through emotional resonance, intellectual clarity, structured delivery, story-driven logic, identity alignment. You do not compete for knowledge. You compete for sustained cognitive presence. The psychology of capture. Attention is captured when one or more of the following are triggered. Curiosity, unresolved tension invites focus. Identity people pay attention to what affirms who they believe they are. Threat or opportunity, risk and reward activate cognitive priority. Novelty, unexpected framing stimulates interest. Authority, credibility reduces skepticism. Understanding these triggers allows strategic design. However, attention capture must not degrade into manipulation. Ethical design sustains long-term trust. The attention trap. There is a dangerous temptation in the digital era, chasing attention at any cost. Outrage, sensationalism, divisiveness, these tactics often produce rapid spikes. But spikes are unstable. Reputation damage follows short-term exploitation. True power does not chase attention recklessly. It cultivates attention systematically. There is a difference between viral noise and strategic visibility. Noise fades. Positioning compounds. The compounding nature of attention. When attention is sustained consistently, it compounds into authority, brand recognition, perceived expertise, network expansion, monetization opportunities. A single exposure rarely creates influence. Repetition creates recognition. Recognition creates familiarity. Familiarity builds trust. The algorithm amplifies familiarity signals. Thus, disciplined consistency becomes currency multiplication. AI and the acceleration of attention markets. Artificial intelligence has intensified competition for attention. Automated content production has increased supply exponentially. Personalized feeds ensure constant stimulation. This creates two realities. Superficial content saturates quickly. Deep value differentiates sustainably. Those who understand both structure and substance dominate. The future will reward those who combine. Algorithmic design. Psychological intelligence. Ethical clarity. Strategic repetition. Attention is fragile. Retention is power. Strategic attention control. To control attention strategically. Design strong openings within seconds. Structure information progressively. Eliminate unnecessary complexity. Deliver value early and consistently. Maintain thematic clarity across outputs. Attention does not tolerate confusion. Clarity is authority. Attention versus distraction. The same systems that reward attention also fragment it. Digital environments encourage distraction. Multitasking reduces depth. Fragmented attention weakens influence capacity. Powerful individuals discipline their own attention before seeking others. If you cannot control your focus, you cannot design for focus. In the AI era, mental discipline becomes competitive advantage. Monetizing attention responsibly. Attention converts into economic value through courses, consulting, products, advertising, institutional partnerships. But monetization must follow trust, not precede it. Extracting value without delivering substance destroys long-term influence. Attention is currency. Trust is the bank. The strategic insight. Attention is not fame. It is structured visibility aligned with value. If you ignore attention mechanics, you remain invisible. If you chase attention recklessly, you become unstable. If you design attention strategically, you build durable power. In the age of AI, data predicts behavior. Algorithms distribute visibility, but attention determines relevance. Control attention ethically, and you control opportunity. Reflective questions. Do you understand what captures your audience's attention? Are you designing for retention or hoping for exposure? Are you building attention assets or chasing temporary spikes? Is your own attention disciplined or fragmented? Power in 2026 flows toward those who can command focus without losing integrity. Attention is the gateway. Master it and influence follows. Law 4. Build systems, not just skills. Skill creates competence. Systems create dominance. In the pre-digital era, individuals advanced primarily through personal capability, education, experience, discipline, talent. Skill was sufficient to compete locally. In the AI era, however, isolated skill is fragile. It is limited by time, energy, and human bandwidth. Systems, by contrast, scale. If you rely only on your personal ability, you remain bounded by your biological limits. If you design systems, you multiply your output beyond yourself. This is the structural shift of the algorithmic age. The skill illusion. Many professionals focus obsessively on improving their personal skill set. Learning new software. Gaining certifications. Attending workshops. Acquiring technical knowledge. While skill development is essential, it is not sufficient. Two individuals may possess equal expertise. The one who designs repeatable systems around that expertise will outperform the one who relies on effort alone. Skill is linear. Systems are exponential. The nature of systems. A system is a structured process that produces consistent outcomes without requiring constant reinvention. Examples in the AI age include automated content pipelines, customer onboarding workflows, AI-assisted research systems, marketing funnels, data-driven decision frameworks, recurring revenue models. Systems reduce cognitive load. They increase predictability. They allow scale. Power grows when your output is not entirely dependent on daily motivation. The AI multiplier. Artificial intelligence has transformed system design. Tasks that once required teams can now be automated partially or fully. AI enables automated analysis, content drafting, customer support chat systems, predictive analytics, workflow optimization, personalized engagement. The individual who integrates AI into structured systems gains disproportionate leverage. You do not need to work harder. You need to architect intelligently. Time is a strategic constraint. Human time is finite. Systems reduce time expenditure per outcome. Without systems, you work, you stop, output stops. With systems, you design systems, operate, output continues. This transition from operator to architect defines modern power. From effort to architecture. Most people ask, how can I improve? Powerful thinkers ask, how can I design this so improvement becomes automatic? For example, instead of asking, how can I post more consistently? Design a content calendar system. Instead of asking, how can I respond to clients faster? Design an automated response framework. Instead of asking, how can I scale my teaching? Design modular courses integrated with AI tools. Architecture replaces exhaustion. Systems create predictability. Predictability increases trust. Trust increases influence. A consistent publishing schedule builds audience expectation. A standardized workflow reduces operational error. A structured financial model stabilizes revenue. In volatile environments, stability itself becomes power. Systems convert chaos into order. The psychological barrier. Why do many individuals resist system building? Because systems require upfront discipline. They demand planning before execution. They appear slower at first. But long-term leverage belongs to those who delay short-term gratification for structural advantage. Skill feels productive. System design feels strategic. The strategic path wins over time. System ownership versus platform dependency. Building systems does not mean surrendering control to external platforms. In fact, strategic system builders reduce dependency. Examples: email systems independent of social media algorithms. Community platforms not reliant on single networks. Proprietary content libraries. Data dashboards owned internally. Control over systems preserves autonomy. Dependency reduces power. Economic implications. In business, systems determine valuation. A freelancer with exceptional skill sells labor. A firm with repeatable systems sells scalability. Investors value processes that operate independently of individual presence. Markets reward recurring revenue models. Automation increases margins. Thus, systems are not only operational tools, they are economic assets. Ethical system design. Systems amplify impact. Therefore, ethical consideration is essential. Design systems that deliver genuine value. Maintain transparency. Respect user autonomy. Avoid exploitation. Unethical systems may generate short-term returns, but create long-term instability. Power sustained requires integrity embedded in structure. Strategic application framework. To implement this law, identify repetitive tasks in your domain. Document the workflow step by step. Integrate automation where appropriate. Standardize output formats. Review and refine continuously. Over time, your output will detach from constant manual effort. You transition from performer to strategist. The strategic insight. Skills make you capable. Systems make you powerful. In the AI era, isolated expertise is insufficient. Structured leverage determines scale. If you build only skills, you remain competitive. If you build systems, you become dominant. Power in 2026 belongs to architects. Design processes. Integrate automation. Standardize excellence. Then let the system work, even when you rest. Reflective questions. Are you relying on effort or architecture? Which parts of your work could be systematized? Have you integrated AI as leverage or as novelty? Do your processes operate independently of daily mood? The algorithm rewards consistency. Consistency requires structure. Structure requires systems. Build them. Law 5. Perception is manufactured. Learn to shape it. Reality matters. But perception determines influence. In the digital age, perception travels faster than truth. It spreads through headlines, thumbnails, metrics, commentary, endorsements, and algorithmic amplification. What people see often shapes what they believe long before they verify what is accurate. Power in the age of AI is not merely about what you are. It is about how you are perceived within digital systems. If you do not shape perception intentionally, it will be shaped for you. The architecture of perception. Perception today is manufactured through visual identity, language framing, positioning statements, social proof signals, platform design, algorithmic ranking, audience commentary. When someone encounters you online, they rarely analyze deeply at first. They scan. They judge quickly. They categorize instantly. Within seconds, they form conclusions about credibility, authority, relevance, trustworthiness, status. This cognitive shortcut is not irrational, it is adaptive. In an environment flooded with information, rapid judgment is survival. Understanding this reality is not manipulation. It is awareness. The AI amplifier. Artificial intelligence does not evaluate character. It evaluates signals. The algorithm reads engagement velocity, follower growth, content consistency, keyword alignment, viewer retention. From these signals, it determines visibility. Visibility shapes perception. Thus, perception becomes algorithmically reinforced. If you appear authoritative, systems amplify you. If you appear inconsistent, systems suppress you. Perception, once stabilized, compounds. The branding imperative. Brand is structured perception. It is the mental image that appears when your name is mentioned. In the age of AI, brand is not optional. It is infrastructure. Without intentional branding, you appear fragmented. Your message lacks coherence. Your authority weakens. With strategic branding, recognition accelerates trust. Trust accelerates influence. Influence accelerates opportunity. Brand does not require artificial exaggeration. It requires clarity. Clarity about who you are, what you stand for, what domain you dominate, what value you consistently deliver. Perception thrives on consistency. Narrative control. Narrative is the frame through which your work is interpreted. Two professionals may present identical expertise. The one who frames their narrative strategically gains greater influence. Consider the difference between I teach management versus I decode how power and systems operate in the age of AI. The second creates distinct positioning. It signals depth. It signals specialization. It shapes expectation. Perception begins with language, social proof, and authority signals. Humans are influenced by visible validation, testimonials, citations, credentials, media mentions, community size. These signals reduce perceived risk. In digital environments, metrics become proxies for credibility. A larger audience suggests relevance. Frequent engagement suggests trust. However, authority signals must be authentic. Artificial inflation may generate temporary visibility, but damages long-term legitimacy. Sustainable perception is built through genuine value delivered consistently. The fragility of digital reputation. Perception is powerful but fragile. In the AI age, negative information spreads rapidly. Screenshots persist indefinitely. Algorithms amplify controversy. A single careless act can undermine years of disciplined positioning. Defensive strategy requires consistent messaging, ethical conduct, controlled public communication, crisis awareness. You must protect perception with the same discipline used to build it. Substance behind signal. There is a temptation to focus only on external presentation, but perception detached from substance collapses. If signal exceeds substance, exposure accelerates failure. True power aligns. Perception with reality. Branding with competence. Narrative with execution. When alignment exists, influence stabilizes. The strategic shift from random exposure to designed identity. Many professionals post content without cohesive strategy. They speak about multiple unrelated topics. They lack visual coherence. They shift tone unpredictably. This fragments perception. Powerful individuals design identity deliberately. They define core themes, maintain visual consistency, reinforce positioning repeatedly, eliminate off-brand distractions. Over time, the audience associates them with a specific domain. Association is power. AI-driven identity modeling. Modern AI systems can analyze language tone, posting frequency, engagement patterns, and audience reactions to build predictive identity profiles. AI-driven identity modeling. Modern AI systems can analyze language tone, posting frequency, engagement patterns, and audience reactions to build predictive identity profiles. This means your digital footprint forms a consistent pattern, even if unintentionally. Better to design that pattern consciously than allow it to emerge randomly. Ethical influence. Shaping perception ethically means avoiding deception, communicating transparently, delivering genuine value, aligning promises with results. Ethical perception building creates durable authority. Manipulative perception building creates temporary dominance. Choose longevity. The strategic insight. Perception precedes influence. You may possess knowledge, but without visible authority, your impact remains limited. In the algorithmic age, visibility shapes belief. Belief shapes engagement. Engagement shapes amplification. If you do not define your narrative, the system defines it. If you do not design your identity, randomness will. Power belongs to those who shape perception intentionally while anchoring it in substance. Reflective questions. How are you currently perceived online? Is your positioning clear or fragmented? Do your signals align with your competence? Are you protecting your digital reputation proactively? In the age of AI, perception is not accidental. It is engineered. Learn to shape it before it shapes you. Law 6. Visibility beats talent. Talent is private. Visibility is public. In the digital age, public perception determines opportunity more than hidden competence. Many highly talented individuals remain unnoticed, while moderately skilled but strategically visible individuals dominate industries. This is not injustice. It is structural reality. In the age of AI, if you are invisible, you are irrelevant. The meritocracy myth. Traditional education taught us a comforting principle. If you are good enough, you will be recognized. This may have functioned in limited physical networks. In digital ecosystems flooded with information, recognition does not occur automatically. Algorithms do not scan the world for the most talented. They amplify signals that trigger measurable engagement. Talent without exposure remains dormant. Visibility converts skill into opportunity. The algorithm rewards presence. Artificial intelligence systems reward consistent output, structured content, engagement signals, predictable cadence, audience retention. They do not evaluate internal brilliance. They respond to observable patterns. A professional who publishes consistently, even if imperfectly, accumulates presence. Presence generates familiarity. Familiarity builds trust. Trust multiplies influence. Psychological foundations of visibility. Humans are influenced by frequency. The more often a name appears, the more credible it feels. Repetition reduces uncertainty. Familiarity lowers psychological resistance. This phenomenon, known in cognitive science as the mere exposure effect, explains why visibility often outperforms raw skill. If people encounter you repeatedly within a specific domain, they begin associating you with authority in that domain. Association becomes power. The discipline of showing up. Visibility is not accidental. It is designed. It requires publishing regularly, speaking consistently, appearing across platforms, reinforcing positioning, maintaining thematic clarity. Irregular brilliance cannot compete with disciplined presence. In the AI era, consistency is interpreted as authority. The compounding effect. Visibility compounds over time. Each appearance increases recognition. Recognition increases recall. Recall increases trust. Trust increases influence. This compounding process is subtle but powerful. Those who remain visible during early stages build exponential advantage later. The fear of exposure. Many intelligent individuals hesitate to increase visibility because of fear of criticism, fear of imperfection, fear of judgment, fear of failure. These fears create self-imposed invisibility. However, the digital ecosystem does not reward hesitation. It rewards participation. Perfection is less valuable than persistence. Talent plus visibility equals authority. This law does not dismiss talent. It reorders priority. Talent is foundation. Visibility is amplifier. Without talent, visibility collapses eventually. Without visibility, talent stagnates indefinitely. The strategic path is integration. Develop competence. Broadcast intelligently. AI and the democratization of visibility. Artificial intelligence tools now enable individuals to produce high-quality visuals, draft structured content, analyze engagement patterns, optimize distribution timing. The barrier to visibility has decreased. Excuses have diminished. What remains is discipline. Ethical visibility. Visibility can be pursued irresponsibly through sensationalism, exaggeration, or controversy. While such tactics may produce rapid spikes, they destabilize long-term credibility. Strategic visibility requires excuses have diminished. Alignment with values. Intellectual consistency. Audience respect. Measured confidence. Powerful visibility does not scream. It resonates. Strategic positioning across platforms. Relying on a single channel for visibility creates vulnerability. Platforms evolve. Algorithms shift. Diversified visibility includes video platforms, professional networks, long-form writing, public speaking, community engagement. Multi-channel presence strengthens structural influence. The invisible expert problem. There are countless experts with advanced degrees, decades of experience, and refined skill, yet limited influence. Why? Because expertise confined to private rooms does not shape public perception. If you do not claim intellectual territory publicly, someone less qualified will. Silence creates vacuum. Vacuum attracts replacement. The strategic insight. In the age of AI, algorithms amplify the present. Markets reward recognition. Audiences trust familiarity. Talent is potential energy. Visibility converts it into kinetic energy. If you wish to influence, you must be seen. If you wish to lead, you must appear. If you wish to shape systems, you must occupy space within them. Visibility is not vanity. It is strategic presence. Reflective questions. Are you consistently visible within your domain? Does your presence reinforce your positioning? Are you waiting for recognition instead of designing it? Had you integrated AI tools to enhance exposure? Remember, invisible brilliance influences no one. Visible competence shapes systems. In the algorithmic world, showing up is not optional. It is power. Advanced authority modeling. Law 7. Information asymmetry creates power. Power does not always come from strength. It often comes from knowing what others do not. In every era, those who possessed superior information held advantage. In financial markets, early access to intelligence determines profit. In politics, strategic knowledge shapes negotiation. In warfare, reconnaissance decides outcomes. In the age of AI, information asymmetry has intensified, not disappeared. While data is abundant, insight remains scarce. Those who can extract meaningful patterns before others do gain structural power. The illusion of equal access. We live in a world where information appears democratized. Search engines answer instantly. AI summarizes complex topics. News spreads globally within minutes. This creates the illusion that everyone has equal access. They do not. Access to raw information is common. Access to filtered, contextualized, actionable intelligence is rare. Information asymmetry now emerges not from secrecy, but from interpretation. Data versus insight. Millions may see the same data. Few extract strategic conclusions. Example. 2 entrepreneurs review market trends. One observes surface statistics. The other identifies emerging behavioral shifts and adjusts positioning early. The second gains first-mover advantage. Information asymmetry in 2026 often lies in analysis speed and pattern recognition. AI accelerates this process, but only for those who know how to ask precise questions. The power of early signals. Algorithms constantly generate early indicators. Shifts in engagement behavior. Emerging search patterns. Sudden topic acceleration. Audience demographic changes. Market volatility signals. Those who monitor early signals move before the crowd reacts. When the majority acts, the advantage has already passed. In the AI era, predictive awareness is leverage. Strategic research as a weapon. Most professionals consume information passively. They scroll. They browse. They skim. Powerful actors research deliberately. They track recurring patterns. Analyze competitor behavior. Monitor technological shifts. Study platform updates. Observe macroeconomic indicators. Strategic research transforms information into anticipation. Anticipation reduces uncertainty. Reduced uncertainty increases confidence. Confidence strengthens positioning. Private knowledge versus public knowledge. Public knowledge is commoditized. Everyone can access it. It rarely produces dominance. Private knowledge derived from direct audience data, proprietary analytics, internal performance metrics, insider industry observation, creates competitive insulation. You do not need confidential secrets. You need unique insight derived from disciplined observation. AI as asymmetry amplifier. Artificial intelligence enhances both sides of asymmetry. Those who use AI effectively can identify patterns invisible to manual review, model predictive behavior, detect anomalies, simulate outcomes. Those who ignore AI remain reactive. The gap between AI-integrated strategists and analog thinkers widens daily. Cognitive discipline. Information asymmetry requires intellectual restraint. Not all information is valuable. Noise overwhelms clarity. To maintain advantage, filter aggressively. Prioritize signal over distraction. Avoid emotional reaction to headlines. Focus on structural indicators. Powerful thinkers separate noise from movement. Negotiation and asymmetry. In negotiation, the party with superior information controls leverage. Knowing. Market conditions. Counterparty constraints. Timing pressures. Regulatory shifts. Creates advantage without aggression. You do not need to dominate openly. You need to understand quietly. Ethical boundaries. Information advantage must be exercised responsibly. Unethical exploitation, insider manipulation, deception, misinformation destroys legitimacy and invites backlash. Strategic asymmetry should be built on research, pattern analysis, intellectual preparation, not exploitation of ignorance. Sustainable power requires moral discipline, defensive awareness. You must also guard against being disadvantaged by asymmetry. Ask yourself, who knows more about my behavior than I do? Which platforms possess predictive models about me? Am I reacting to trends I do not fully understand? If others understand your patterns better than you do, you are at structural risk. The strategic insight. Information asymmetry in the AI era is subtle. It is not about hoarding facts. It is about interpreting patterns earlier. Those who detect change before it becomes obvious, analyze behavior before it becomes mainstream, adjust strategy before it becomes necessary, gain quiet dominance. Power in 2026 belongs to the informed and the anticipatory. Reflective questions. What signals in your field are emerging that others ignore? Are you consuming information passively or analyzing actively? Have you integrated AI tools to enhance pattern detection? Who holds informational advantage over you? Information is everywhere. Insight is rare. Cultivate insight. Because in the age of AI, knowing first often means winning quietly. Own distribution, not just production. Creation is visible. Distribution is power. In the digital age, millions create. Few control distribution. The difference between obscurity and dominance rarely lies in production quality alone. It lies in who controls the pathway between content and audience. If you produce but do not control distribution, you are dependent. Dependency limits power. The production trap. Most professionals focus on improving what they produce. Better content. Better design. Better products. Better services. Yet, even exceptional production fails without strategic distribution. History offers a consistent pattern. Inventors without distribution lose to distributors without invention. In the AI era, this principle has intensified. The platform dependency problem. Social media platforms, marketplaces, streaming services, and search engines act as intermediaries between creators and audiences. When you rely exclusively on platforms, algorithms determine reach. Policies determine survival. Monetization rules determine income. You build on borrowed land. Borrowed land is vulnerable. Platform shifts can reduce visibility overnight. Policy updates can suspend access. Algorithm changes can suppress distribution without warning. Strategic actors reduce dependency. The power of owned channels. Owned distribution channels include email lists, private communities, proprietary websites. Distribution channels include subscription platforms, direct customer databases. These assets create autonomy. When you own distribution, you communicate without algorithmic filtering. You launch without seeking permission. You protect against sudden platform volatility. Ownership stabilizes influence. Distribution as leverage. Distribution multiplies production. A single idea distributed strategically can outperform dozens distributed randomly. Effective distribution involves timing optimization, platform-specific formatting, cross-channel amplification, strategic partnerships, repurposing content intelligently. Production without distribution is potential. Distribution converts potential into impact. AI and distribution intelligence. Artificial intelligence enhances distribution strategy through audience segmentation, predictive engagement modeling, automated scheduling, personalized communication, behavioral targeting. Those who integrate AI into distribution workflows outperform those who treat it as optional. The future belongs to system-driven reach. Case illustration, the silent producer. Consider two professionals. Professional A produces high-quality insights, publishes occasionally, relies on organic discovery. Professional B produces consistent value, builds an email list, maintains community engagement, repurposes content across platforms, tracks engagement metrics. Over time, Professional B builds durable influence. Production matters. Distribution decides. Network effects. Distribution strength increases when network effects activate. When audiences share, refer, and amplify voluntarily, your reach multiplies without proportional effort. Network-driven distribution requires strong identity positioning, community engagement, high perceived value, emotional resonance. People distribute what reflects their identity. Economic implications. Businesses with strong distribution channels command higher valuation. A product can be replicated. A distribution network is difficult to copy. This principle explains the dominance of major platforms. They control access. Control of access is modern gatekeeping. If you do not control access to your audience, someone else does. Defensive strategy. While building own channels, continue leveraging platforms strategically. The objective is not abandonment, it is diversification. Use platforms to attract. Use own channels to retain. Acquisition and retention are distinct. Retention equals power. The psychological shift. Many individuals believe production is the noble work and distribution is secondary. This belief is outdated. In the age of AI, creation without distribution is invisibility. Distribution without substance is fragility. Integration creates dominance. Ethical consideration. Distribution power can be misused through spam, coercion, misinformation, or exploitation. Long-term authority requires respectful communication. Value-first engagement. Transparent intent. Consent-based outreach. Trust is the foundation of sustainable distribution. The strategic insight. If you rely solely on platforms, you are temporary. If you build own distribution, you are durable. Power in 2026 flows through channels. Control the channel, and you control the conversation. Control the conversation and you shape perception. Shape perception and influence follows. Production is effort. Distribution is leverage. Build both but prioritize ownership. Reflective questions. Do you own direct access to your audience? Are you dependent on a single platform? Have you integrated AI into your distribution strategy? Are you designing retention systems, not just attraction tactics? In the algorithmic age, creation is common. Control of distribution is rare. And rarity creates power. Part 2. Strategic Positioning. Law 9. Become irreplaceable through AI leverage. In every era, individuals who became difficult to replace accumulated power. In industrial systems, this meant technical specialization. In corporate hierarchies, it meant institutional knowledge. In the digital era, it means something more complex. You must combine human judgment with AI leverage in a way that cannot be easily substituted. Irreplaceability is no longer about working harder. It is about designing unique capability. The replaceability crisis. Artificial intelligence has automated content drafting, data analysis, customer service, financial modeling, legal documentation, research summarization. This has created widespread anxiety. If AI can perform routine tasks faster and cheaper, what protects human relevance? The answer is not resistance. It is integration. Those who fight AI become replaceable. Those who integrate AI become indispensable. The formula of modern irreplaceability. Irreplaceability in 2026 is built on 3 pillars. Human judgment. Strategic contextualization. AI-enhanced execution. AI produces output. Humans interpret meaning. AI processes data. Humans assign direction. AI predicts patterns. Humans define purpose. When these dimensions merge, the result is leverage that cannot be replicated by automation alone. The danger of pure automation. Some individuals attempt to outsource everything to AI. Writing without editing. Analysis without interpretation. Strategy without reflection. This creates uniformity. When everyone uses AI superficially, differentiation collapses. Irreplaceability emerges not from AI usage, but from AI orchestration. You must ask, how do I combine AI capability with my intellectual framework? Strategic differentiation. To become irreplaceable. Develop a recognizable thinking pattern. Apply AI tools uniquely within your domain. Build systems around your expertise. Create intellectual synthesis AI cannot autonomously generate. For example, anyone can summarize a book using AI. Few can reinterpret it through a strategic, contextual lens consistently. Anyone can generate marketing copy. Few can integrate behavioral psychology, cultural nuance, and ethical foresight. Irreplaceability lies in synthesis. The AI multiplier effect. When integrated properly, AI multiplies. Research speed. Production capacity. Analytical depth. Scenario modeling. Strategic testing. Instead of replacing you, it extends you. You become faster, more precise, more adaptive, more scalable. Power increases when output exceeds effort. Organizational context. Within institutions, replaceability is determined by role standardization, task automation, knowledge transferability, system dependency. If your value lies only in executing predictable processes, automation threatens you. If your value lies in strategic interpretation, system design, and adaptive leadership, your importance increases. AI automates routine. It amplifies complexity. Position yourself in complexity. The personal brand dimension. Irreplaceability also depends on identity clarity. When people associate your name with a specific intellectual domain, substitution becomes difficult. For example, a professional who consistently operates at the intersection of management, strategy, and AI creates a niche identity. Identity reduces substitutability. Visibility plus unique synthesis equals strategic shield. Continuous evolution. Irreplaceability is not static. AI capabilities evolve rapidly. To maintain advantage, update your tools regularly. Refine your frameworks continuously. Study emerging trends proactively. Anticipate automation boundaries. Those who stagnate become predictable. Predictability invites replacement. Ethical strength. Irreplaceability must not rely on hoarding information or obstructing others. True strategic power is built through mentorship, knowledge sharing, ethical leadership, structural design. If your absence collapses a system, you built dependency. If your absence reveals a durable system, you built legacy. Irreplaceability should elevate ecosystems, not weaken them. The strategic insight. In the AI era, skills alone are replaceable. Routine execution is replaceable. Generic content is replaceable. But strategic synthesis is rare. Judgment is scarce. Ethical foresight is uncommon. Become the bridge between machine intelligence and human wisdom. That bridge is difficult to replicate. Reflective questions. Are you using AI passively or strategically? What unique synthesis do you offer that automation cannot? Does your professional identity signal specialization? Are you positioning yourself in complexity or routine? In the algorithmic world, survival belongs to those who adapt. Dominance belongs to those who integrate. Do not compete with AI. Leverage it. And make yourself structurally indispensable. Law 10. Hide your limitations behind automation. In every era, Individuals have had weaknesses. In the AI era, weakness is not the problem. Exposure is. You will always have constraints. Limited time. Limited technical skill. Limited memory. Limited bandwidth. Limited reach. The powerful do not eliminate limitations. They design around them. Automation is the modern shield. The myth of complete competence. Many professionals believe they must master everything. Advanced analytics. Graphic design. Programming. Copywriting. Marketing. Negotiation. This belief creates paralysis. In reality, dominance does not require omniscience. It requires orchestration. Artificial intelligence enables you to compensate intelligently. Automation as strategic cover. Automation allows you to draft before refining, analyze before concluding, schedule before remembering, track before forgetting, respond before delaying. It converts weakness into structure. If you struggle with consistency, automate scheduling. If you struggle with data interpretation, use AI analytics tools. If you struggle with speed, integrate workflow automation. Do not expose your weaknesses publicly. Engineer systems that neutralize them. The quiet strength of structure. Automation does not make you less authentic. It makes you more stable. Stability increases trust. When audiences see regular output, prompt responses, organized communication, structured delivery, they perceive professionalism. Professionalism generates authority. Strategic delegation to machines. In previous decades, delegation required teams. Now delegation includes machines. AI can handle first draft generation, data cleaning, performance monitoring, formatting, trend scanning, repetitive communication. Delegating repetitive tasks frees cognitive space for strategy. Energy saved is power gained. The psychological advantage. When your operational weaknesses are neutralized, confidence increases. Confidence effects. Decision speed. Public communication. Negotiation strength. Leadership presence. Automation does not merely increase efficiency. It strengthens psychological composure. Composure is influence. Avoiding overexposure. Some individuals display raw process publicly, revealing confusion, inconsistency, and unstructured thinking. Transparency is valuable. Chaos is not. Strategic leaders refine before release. Automation assists refinement. It allows error detection, pattern consistency, quality control, tone alignment. Before the world sees your work, systems improve it. The risk of over-reliance. Automation must remain a tool, not a substitute for judgment. If you outsource thinking entirely to AI, originality declines. Depth weakens. Voice dissolves. The objective is enhancement, not replacement. Machines execute. Humans direct. Competitive shielding. In competitive environments, visible weaknesses invite pressure. Automation shields vulnerability by maintaining rapid responsiveness, ensuring data accuracy, supporting preparation, enabling scenario modeling. Preparation reduces exposure. Exposure invites challenge. Organizational context. Within institutions, leaders who integrate automation. Increase departmental efficiency. Reduce error rates. Improve reporting speed. Strengthen decision quality. Those who resist automation appear outdated. Irrelevance accelerates replacement. Adaptation signals leadership maturity. Ethical boundaries. Automation must not be used to deceive, such as fabricating expertise or misrepresenting effort. The objective is not illusion. It is strategic reinforcement. Authentic capability supported by automation is power. False capability masked by automation is collapse waiting to happen. The strategic insight. Every individual has limitations. Weakness exposed reduces influence. Weakness engineered around increases resilience. Automation is not about hiding incompetence. It is about neutralizing constraint. In the AI era, those who reveal every limitation publicly appear unstable. Those who design systems to compensate appear powerful. Master the tool. Conceal the friction. Display only structured strength. Because power is not perfection. It is controlled presentation supported by intelligent design. Reflective questions. What are your recurring operational weaknesses? Which tasks drain disproportionate energy? Have you integrated AI to reinforce your weak points? Are you exposing inconsistency instead of engineering stability? Display only structured strength. In 2026, vulnerability unmanaged becomes liability. Vulnerability engineered becomes invisible. And invisible strength is influence. Law 11. Turn speed into dominance. In the industrial age, scale created dominance. In the information age, knowledge created dominance. In the AI age, speed creates dominance. The individual or organization that moves faster, without losing clarity, controls momentum. Momentum shapes perception. Perception shapes opportunity. Opportunity shapes power. Speed is no longer optional. It is strategic. The acceleration of everything. Artificial intelligence has compressed time. Research that once required weeks now takes hours. Content production that took days now takes minutes. Data analysis that required teams now requires tools. The cycle of idea execution feedback adjustment has accelerated. Those who adapt to this acceleration gain disproportionate advantage. Those who hesitate become outdated before they begin. Speed as first mover advantage. In digital ecosystems, early positioning compounds. The first voice in an emerging topic often gains authority, accumulates backlinks, captures search traffic, shapes the narrative. Late entrants compete against established presence. In fast-moving environments, delay is strategic surrender. Speed versus impulsivity. Speed must not be confused with recklessness. Impulsivity creates error. Speed with structure creates leverage. The difference lies in preparation. Prepared minds move quickly because they anticipate trends, monitor signals, maintain ready systems, pre-design frameworks. When opportunity appears, they act without hesitation. The AI speed multiplier. AI tools enable rapid prototyping, real-time data monitoring, automated reporting, instant content iteration, predictive modeling. This creates asymmetric speed. A single strategist using AI intelligently can outpace larger teams operating traditionally. Speed is now democratized, but advantage belongs to those who integrate it systematically. The psychology of momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence attracts attention. When audiences observe consistent movement, new releases, rapid updates, adaptive responses, they perceive confidence. In contrast, stagnation signals weakness. Digital audiences reward active presence. Movement implies relevance. Competitive paralysis. Many professionals hesitate because they overanalyze. Fear of imperfection. Fear of criticism. Fear of uncertainty. While they deliberate, others execute. In rapidly evolving environments, perfect timing rarely exists. Strategic speed involves launching, measuring, refining. Iteration beats hesitation. Organizational speed. Within companies, speed influences. Market capture. Innovation cycles. Talent retention. Investor confidence. Bureaucratic delay erodes power. Organizations that reduce decision friction gain agility. Agility builds dominance. The cost of delay. Every delay has opportunity cost. Lost visibility. Lost market share. Lost narrative control. Lost credibility. In the AI era, delay compounds disadvantage. Speed compounds advantage. Designing for speed. To institutionalize speed. Build pre-approved workflows. Standardize decision criteria. Use AI for early analysis. Maintain draft-ready frameworks. Reduce unnecessary approval layers. Speed without chaos requires structure. Structure enables rapid execution without disorder. Ethical speed. Speed must remain aligned with integrity. Fast misinformation damages trust. Rapid expansion without quality control collapses reputation. The objective is controlled acceleration, not reckless expansion. Dominance built on speed must rest on reliability. The strategic insight. In 2026, markets shift quickly. Technologies evolve rapidly. Audiences adapt instantly. Those who move slowly become invisible. Those who move intelligently and quickly shape direction. Speed creates momentum. Momentum creates perception. Perception creates power. Do not wait for certainty. Prepare continuously. Act decisively. Refine intelligently. Because in the algorithmic world, the fast do not merely win. They define the battlefield. Reflective questions. How quickly do you move from idea to execution? Are your systems designed for agility? Are you hesitating while competitors experiment? Have you integrated AI to reduce friction? In the age of AI, speed is not aggression. It is adaptation. Turn speed into structure. Turn structure into momentum. Turn momentum into dominance. Law 12. Scale before others even start. In competitive environments, most individuals wait for validation. They wait for perfect clarity, market confirmation, external approval, proof of success. By the time validation arrives, early movers have already scaled. In the age of AI, dominance often belongs not to the first thinker, but to the first scaler. The waiting trap. Many professionals believe safety lies in observation. They monitor trends. They analyze competitors. They study the environment. But observation without execution creates stagnation. When the opportunity becomes obvious to everyone, advantage disappears. Power favors those who build infrastructure early. The asymmetry of early scaling. Early scaling creates 3 advantages. Visibility lock-in early presence accumulates search authority, backlinks, algorithmic trust, and audience familiarity. Compounding trust repeated exposure builds credibility over time. Network effects early adopters become advocates, amplifying growth. Late entrants must overcome established momentum. Momentum is difficult to displace. AI as a scaling engine. Artificial intelligence dramatically reduces scaling barriers. You can now automate content pipelines, repurpose material across platforms, analyze engagement patterns, optimize marketing funnels, build intelligent systems. Scaling no longer requires large teams. It requires strategic design. The psychology of hesitation. Why do most people delay scaling? Because growth creates exposure. Exposure invites criticism, competition, pressure, responsibility, Scaling demands courage. But in digital ecosystems, small thinking limits reach. Infrastructure before recognition. True scaling begins before recognition. Build. Structured content libraries. Organized workflows. Multi-platform presence. Consistent identity positioning. Audience capture systems. When attention arrives, you must be prepared. Unprepared scaling collapses under pressure. The speed-scale connection. Speed without scale is temporary. Scale without speed is delayed. When both combine, acceleration becomes exponential. AI enables this combination. Rapid production. Structured automation. Data-driven adjustment. Continuous refinement. The strategist who integrates speed with scalability gains disproportionate power. Institutional example. Consider two professionals launching identical initiatives. Professional A publishes occasionally, waits for feedback, expands cautiously. Professional B designs a scalable content framework, automates distribution, launches multi-channel presence, iterates quickly. Within months, Professional B establishes dominance. Not because of superior talent, because of structured expansion, the fear of overextension. Scaling without foundation creates instability. Therefore, scale must rest on clear positioning, consistent value delivery, system integrity, ethical standards. Growth without structure collapses. Structured growth compounds. Market positioning advantage. In digital environments, perception often follows scale. Large presence signals authority. Authority attracts collaboration. Collaboration increases reach. Reach strengthens dominance. Scale shapes perception before competitors can react. Defensive scaling. Scaling early also creates barriers. When you occupy digital territory, build audience loyalty, establish content depth, develop system automation. New entrants must compete against established infrastructure. Infrastructure deters challengers. Ethical dimension. Scaling must not sacrifice quality or integrity. Growth driven purely by ego becomes unstable. Sustainable scaling balances. Reach. Substance. Responsibility. Power without principle erodes trust. Trust underpins durable influence. The strategic insight. In the AI era, barriers to scaling are lower. Opportunities move faster. Attention cycles shorten. Those who build early infrastructure control space. Do not wait for universal approval. Prepare. Design. Scale. Because when others are still thinking, you should already be expanding. Reflective questions. Are you building systems ready for growth? Are you hesitating while competitors expand? Do you integrate AI into your scaling strategy? Is your infrastructure prepared for sudden attention? In the algorithmic world, opportunity rewards the prepared. Scale before others begin. And let infrastructure become your advantage. Law 13. Never depend on one platform. Dependency is silent weakness. In the digital age, many individuals build their entire influence, income, and visibility on a single platform. They grow an audience. They optimize for one algorithm. They rely on one revenue stream. Then a policy changes. An algorithm shifts. An account is suspended. A platform declines. And power disappears overnight. Strategic actors never build empires on rented land. The platform illusion. Platforms create opportunity. They provide infrastructure, distribution, and visibility. They can accelerate growth dramatically. But platforms also control algorithms, monetization policies, content guidelines, Account access. Data visibility. You do not own the environment. You operate within it. Ownership determines power. Historical pattern of digital collapse. History offers clear examples. Platforms rise and decline. Algorithms evolve unpredictably. Monetization terms shift suddenly. Visibility patterns change without notice. Those who relied entirely on one system suffer the most. Diversification is not paranoia. It is structural intelligence. Multi-platform strategy. Strategic presence requires core platform dominance. Secondary platform expansion. Owned distribution channels. Cross-channel reinforcement. Each platform serves a different function. Discovery. Authority. Community. Monetization. Retention. Integration strengthens stability. Owned versus borrowed assets. Borrowed assets. Social media followers. Platform analytics. Algorithm-driven traffic. Owned assets. Email lists. Direct community groups. Proprietary websites. Distribution channels include subscription systems. Customer databases. Borrowed assets can vanish. Owned assets endure. Long-term influence requires ownership. AI and cross-platform efficiency. Artificial intelligence simplifies diversification. You can now repurpose content efficiently. Analyze performance across platforms. Schedule automated distribution. Optimize for platform-specific formats. Diversification no longer requires overwhelming effort. It requires strategic design. The psychological trap of comfort. Why do many professionals remain dependent? Because familiarity feels safe. They understand one system deeply. They hesitate to expand. They fear starting small again elsewhere. But comfort breeds vulnerability. Power requires proactive expansion. Revenue diversification. Dependence extends beyond visibility to income. Relying on one advertiser. One platform monetization model. One revenue stream. Creates fragility. Strategic actors develop. Courses. Consulting. Subscriptions. Partnerships. Multiple digital income channels. Financial diversification strengthens independence. Defensive positioning. Imagine losing your primary platform tomorrow. Would your influence survive? If the answer is no, you have structural weakness. Defensive positioning involves building alternative communication channels, maintaining direct audience contact, creating portable content assets, establishing independent brand authority. Power survives disruption. Strategic dominance. True dominance arises when your name transcends platforms. Your audience follows you across ecosystems. Your identity remains consistent regardless of channel. When people seek you, not just your account, you become platform independent. Platform independence is influence maturity. Ethical stability. Diversification should not dilute value. Maintain consistent messaging. Core identity. Strategic focus. Expansion without clarity fragments perception. Structure must guide diversification. The strategic insight. Platforms are tools. Tools are not foundations. In the AI era, algorithms shift rapidly. Policies evolve unpredictably. Digital ecosystems remain volatile. If you depend on one system, you surrender resilience. Build broadly. Own strategically. Diversify intelligently. Because power anchored in one structure is temporary. Power anchored across structures is durable. Reflective questions. What percentage of your visibility depends on one platform? Do you own direct communication channels? Is your income diversified? Would your influence survive algorithmic change? In 2026, digital sovereignty is strategic necessity. Never depend on one platform. Because independence is power. Management framework. Law 14. Build authority before you need it. Power is most useful when it already exists. Many individuals attempt to build authority only when they require it, during crisis, opportunity, negotiation, or transition. By then, it is too late. Authority is not created instantly. It is accumulated quietly over time. In the age of AI, authority compounds digitally. It leaves traces, content archives, search results, citations, community memory, public reputation. When the moment arrives, those who prepared rise. Those who waited struggle. The delayed authority problem. Professionals often postpone visibility and thought leadership because they feel unprepared. They seek perfection. They fear criticism. They prioritize short-term tasks. Years pass. Opportunities emerge. They discover they have no visible intellectual footprint. Authority cannot be improvised under pressure. Digital footprint as capital. Every piece of thoughtful content you produce becomes searchable, referenceable, shareable, citable, archivable. Over time, this forms digital capital. When someone searches your name, what appears? Random fragments or structured expertise? In 2026, search results are reputation architecture. Authority and perception. Authority influences. Hiring decisions. Partnership opportunities. Negotiation strength. Media invitations. Speaking engagements. Institutional trust. People prefer visible experts. Visible experts are assumed credible. Credibility attracts opportunity before it is requested. AI and reputation compounding. Artificial intelligence indexes and interprets patterns. Consistent publishing within a domain trains both human audiences and algorithmic systems to associate you with expertise. The algorithm begins recognizing your topical authority. Authority signals include consistency, depth, thematic coherence, cross-platform reinforcement, community engagement. Authority is not self-proclaimed. It is system-recognized. Crisis advantage. When crisis occurs, economic disruption, industry shifts, institutional challenge, people seek trusted voices. If you have built authority beforehand, your voice carries weight. Your analysis receives attention. Your recommendations influence action. If you have not, you remain unheard. Authority built in calm sustains you in turbulence. The long-term investment. Building authority requires regular publication, thoughtful analysis, intellectual integrity, domain specialization, patience. The rewards are delayed but exponential. Early stages feel slow. Later stages compound. Authority is slow leverage. The leadership dimension. Within organizations, leaders who build intellectual authority early shape strategic direction, influence cultural norms, guide transformation initiatives. When decisions arise, trusted voices dominate discussion. Preparation creates presence. The risk of overexposure without depth. Authority must rest on substance. Frequent posting without depth creates noise, not influence. Authority requires intellectual rigor, analytical clarity, structured frameworks, measured tone. Consistency without depth is volume. Consistency with depth is influence. Strategic patience. Authority is not viral. It builds gradually. Through repetition. Through reliability. through visible competence. The algorithm rewards persistence. The audience rewards reliability. Over time, recognition stabilizes. Institutional memory. Digital ecosystems remember. Your ideas, positions, and statements remain archived. Build authority responsibly. Contradiction without evolution damages trust. Strategic actors evolve publicly with clarity, not confusion. The strategic insight. Do not wait for opportunity to build credibility. Build credibility so opportunity seeks you. In the AI era, reputation is searchable. Expertise is indexable. Authority is measurable. If you build consistently before necessity arises, you gain leverage. If you delay, you compete under pressure. Authority built early becomes shield, magnet, and amplifier. Reflective questions. What appears when someone searches your expertise? Are you building intellectual capital consistently? Would your authority withstand public scrutiny? Are you waiting for recognition instead of constructing it? In 2026, digital authority is strategic insurance. Build it before you need it. Because when the moment comes, preparation decides who leads. Law 15. Use controversy carefully. Controversy generates attention, but attention without control generates instability. In the age of AI, controversy spreads faster than clarification. Algorithms amplify emotional intensity. Polarizing content often travels further than balanced reasoning. This creates a strategic temptation. Provoke outrage. Trigger debate. Exploit division. The short-term reward can be visibility. The long-term cost can be authority. Powerful actors do not avoid controversy entirely. They manage it deliberately. The algorithmic bias toward emotion. Digital systems reward. High engagement. Rapid reaction. Strong emotional responses. Anger, shock, fear, and moral outrage drive interaction. Algorithms interpret engagement as relevance. Thus, controversial content often receives disproportionate amplification. However, amplification does not equal credibility. The two faces of controversy. Controversy has two strategic forms. Constructive controversy challenging dominant assumptions with evidence, clarity, and intellectual rigor. Reactive controversy provoking emotional conflict for attention. The first builds reputation over time. The second erodes trust gradually. The difference lies in intention and execution. Strategic positioning through tension. Thought leaders often introduce friction. They question norms. They critique outdated systems. They expose inefficiencies. This generates debate, but grounded in analysis. Constructive tension can elevate authority when arguments are evidence-based. Tone remains disciplined. Solutions accompany criticism. Authority increases when courage aligns with clarity. The risk of identity polarization. In digital environments, controversy often creates tribal alignment. Audiences divide quickly. Nuance disappears. Labels replace dialogue. If your brand becomes defined by constant antagonism, long-term positioning narrows. Polarization can build a following. It can also limit expansion. Strategic actors calculate the cost of alignment carefully. Emotional discipline. The greatest danger of controversy is emotional reaction. In moments of criticism, ego activates. Defensive responses emerge. Escalation occurs. Public emotional reaction reduces perceived composure. Composure signals strength. Reaction signals insecurity. Respond deliberately or remain silent. Crisis amplification. AI-driven distribution means even minor disputes can escalate. Screenshots persist. Clips circulate. Narratives detached from context. Once controversy spreads, control decreases. Therefore, evaluate consequences before speaking. Anticipate misinterpretation. Prepare structured responses. Strategic silence is often stronger than impulsive defense. Controversy as controlled signal. When used strategically, controversy can signal intellectual independence, differentiate positioning, challenge stagnant thinking, reinforce domain authority. However, this requires clear logic, calm tone, evidence-based reasoning, ethical restraint. Provocation without structure destroys influence. Provocation with discipline strengthens it. Long-term reputation economics. Every public statement contributes to cumulative perception. Short-term controversy may produce rapid engagement, but institutions, partners, and serious collaborators value stability. Reputation capital grows slowly and declines quickly. Guard it carefully. Strategic test before engaging. Before entering controversial territory, ask, does this align with my long-term positioning? Is the debate constructive or emotional? Does it strengthen authority or merely generate noise? Am I reacting or leading? If controversy does not serve strategic clarity, avoid it. Ethical framework. Controversy must never rely on misinformation, personal attack, sensational exaggeration, emotional manipulation. Such tactics may attract visibility but degrade influence. Sustainable power requires integrity. The strategic insight. In the age of AI, outrage spreads rapidly. Emotion travels faster than truth. Reputation forms quickly. Controversy is a tool, not a strategy. Use it sparingly. Use it deliberately. Use it intelligently. When aligned with principle, controversy can signal strength. When driven by ego, it signals weakness. Reflective questions. Do you engage controversy strategically or reactively? Does your public discourse strengthen or fragment your positioning? Are you prepared for amplified backlash? Does your tone reflect composure or emotion? Power requires emotional control. Visibility gained through chaos is unstable. Influence built through disciplined courage endures. Law 16. Control the narrative before others do. Events happen. Interpretations define them. In the digital age, reality is often secondary to framing. The first narrative that gains traction frequently becomes the dominant version of truth. Algorithms amplify early engagement. Audiences react before verifying. Perception stabilizes quickly. If you do not define your story, someone else will. Power belongs to those who frame events, not those who merely experience them. The speed of narrative formation. When something occurs, success, failure, controversy, innovation, digital ecosystems respond immediately. Within minutes. Commentary appears. Clips circulate. Headlines emerge. Interpretations multiply. Artificial intelligence systems amplify high-engagement interpretations, not necessarily accurate ones. Delay in response creates vacuum. Vacuum invites distortion. Framing as strategic leverage. Narrative control involves contextualizing events, explaining intent, defining impact, establishing tone, anchoring meaning. For example, a business restructuring can be framed as instability or strategic repositioning. A leadership transition can be framed as crisis or renewal. The facts may remain constant. The interpretation determines perception. Perception shapes influence. First mover framing advantage. The first coherent narrative often becomes default reference. Later corrections struggle to override early impressions. Therefore, respond early. Respond clearly. Respond calmly. Speed matters, but so does structure. Prepared leaders anticipate narrative challenges in advance. Proactive narrative architecture. Do not wait for crisis to define your identity. Build a consistent narrative over time. What do you stand for? What domain do you lead? What values guide you? What expertise defines you? When events occur, audiences interpret them through your established story. Strong prior narrative reduces reputational volatility. AI and narrative amplification. Algorithms detect engagement velocity. If negative framing gains early traction, it spreads quickly. Therefore, narrative defense requires immediate clarity, unified messaging, consistent tone, cross-platform reinforcement. Fragmented response weakens authority. Emotional neutrality. In moments of narrative conflict, emotional response reduces credibility. Calm explanation signals control. Anger signals instability. The audience observes composure as evidence of leadership. Control your tone. Control your framing. The power of simplicity. Effective narratives are clear, concise, repeated, structured. Complex defense confuses audiences. Clarity anchors belief. Define your message in a sentence before expanding. Organizational narrative. Institutions that fail to manage narrative suffer reputational erosion. Successful organizations. Anticipate risk. Maintain crisis communication protocols. Train spokespersons. Align internal messaging. Consistency across voices strengthens perception. Narrative and authority. Leaders who control narrative shape. Public opinion. Media interpretation. Investor confidence. Employee morale. Silence may be misinterpreted as weakness. But controlled silence, followed by structured response, signals strategy. Choose timing carefully. Defensive preparation. Before crises occur. Document core principles. Establish communication channels. Monitor public sentiment. Prepare response templates. Design escalation frameworks. Preparation reduces panic. Panic amplifies damage. Ethical responsibility. Narrative control must not distort truth. Manipulation destroys trust. Frame events honestly, but strategically. Transparency strengthens long-term authority. Deception erodes it. The strategic insight. In 2026, stories spread instantly. Reputation forms rapidly. Correction is difficult. Control the narrative early. Define context before interpretation spreads. Speak before speculation solidifies. Anchor meaning before distortion multiplies. If you do not shape the story, you become subject to it. Power belongs to those who define direction, not those who react to perception. Reflective questions. Do you have a clear personal narrative? Are you prepared for sudden reputational challenge? Do you respond quickly and calmly to emerging interpretation? Is your communication structured or reactive? Narrative is influence architecture. Control it. Because in the algorithmic world, perception travels faster than facts. And whoever frames first often leads longest. Part 3. Psychological Influence. Law 17. Emotional intelligence beats raw intelligence. In the age of AI, information is abundant. Logic is automated. Analysis is accelerated. But emotional intelligence remains human. Artificial intelligence can process data. It cannot fully feel tension in a room. It cannot instinctively read subtle hesitation. It cannot intuit silent resistance. In environments saturated with cognitive capability, emotional intelligence becomes the differentiator. Power in 2026 belongs not to the most intelligent mind, but to the most emotionally aware strategist. The cognitive saturation problem. With AI tools available to everyone, research is instant. Statistics are accessible. Arguments are easily generated. Summaries are automated. Raw intelligence is no longer rare. What remains rare is the ability to sense emotional climate, navigate interpersonal tension, inspire trust, diffuse conflict, align diverse perspectives. Intellectual strength without emotional awareness often creates resistance. The 4 pillars of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence operates across 4 dimensions. Self-awareness, understanding your own emotional triggers. Self-regulation, maintaining composure under pressure. Empathy, recognizing emotional states in others. Social skill, navigating relationships strategically. In digital ecosystems, emotional intelligence extends beyond physical interaction to online tone, audience sensitivity, and narrative framing. Authority without arrogance. Highly intelligent individuals often struggle with relational dominance because they prioritize being correct over being persuasive. Influence requires alignment, not superiority. Emotional intelligence enables framing ideas without triggering defensiveness, delivering critique without humiliation, leading without intimidation. People rarely resist ideas they feel respected by. AI and emotional blind spots. AI can generate sophisticated responses, but it cannot fully detect nuanced emotional context unless trained carefully. Leaders who rely exclusively on machine-generated communication risk. Tone misalignment. Cultural insensitivity. Emotional misjudgment. Emotional intelligence ensures human calibration. Machines amplify logic. Humans must calibrate empathy. Conflict management power. Conflict is inevitable in competitive environments. Raw intelligence escalates arguments. Emotional intelligence resolves them. When challenged, intelligent but reactive individuals defend aggressively. Emotionally intelligent leaders respond strategically. Composure signals strength. Strength earns respect. Persuasion through emotional framing. Humans decide emotionally before justifying logically. Facts matter, but emotional resonance determines receptivity. Effective influence combines rational clarity, emotional relevance, identity alignment. In digital communication, tone, language choice, and pacing shape emotional interpretation. Perception of empathy builds loyalty. Leadership and emotional containment. Leaders often function as emotional stabilizers. During uncertainty, employees seek reassurance. Audiences seek clarity. Partners seek confidence. Emotional containment, remaining calm when others panic, creates authority. AI may deliver analysis. Humans deliver reassurance. The cost of emotional blindness. Without emotional intelligence, you alienate collaborators. You misinterpret feedback. You escalate unnecessary conflict. You damage long-term relationships. Brilliance without relational awareness creates isolation. Isolation weakens influence. Digital emotional intelligence. Online environments magnify misunderstanding. Text lacks tone. Algorithms amplify reaction. Context disappears quickly. Emotionally intelligent digital presence requires measured language, avoidance of impulsive reaction, sensitivity to audience mood, strategic timing. Composure is power online. Strategic emotional awareness. Before responding publicly, ask, what emotional state is driving this discussion? What identity concerns are present? What fear or aspiration is underlying the reaction? Understanding emotional drivers allows strategic communication. Influence rarely comes from winning arguments. It comes from aligning emotional incentives. The strategic insight. In 2026, intelligence is common. Information is abundant. Analysis is automated. Emotional intelligence differentiates. Raw intelligence wins debates. Emotional intelligence wins influence. Power requires both. Master your internal state. Read external signals. Respond with composure. Because in the algorithmic world, logic informs. Emotion moves. And those who move people shape systems. Reflective questions. Do you react emotionally under pressure? Can you sense tension before it escalates? Does your communication build alignment or resistance? Are you integrating empathy into digital leadership? Emotional intelligence is not softness. It is strategic awareness of human complexity. And in the age of AI, human complexity is your advantage. Law 18. Influence through value, not force. Force creates compliance. Value creates loyalty. In earlier eras, power often relied on authority, hierarchy, or coercion. Titles commanded obedience. Positions demanded respect. Orders ensured action. In the age of AI, hierarchy has weakened. Information flows freely. Audiences choose whom to follow. Employees switch organizations quickly. Consumers compare instantly. Influence today cannot be forced. It must be earned. The collapse of command power. Digital transparency has changed power dynamics. Employees research leaders. Consumers research brands. Students research educators. Voters research institutions. Blind obedience has declined. When people feel pressured rather than respected, they disengage. Force may produce short-term compliance. It destroys long-term influence. Value as influence currency. Value can take multiple forms. Insight, clarity, education, opportunity, emotional support, practical utility. When individuals perceive value consistently, trust develops. Trust converts into influence. Influence generates voluntary alignment. Voluntary alignment is stronger than imposed obedience. The AI context. Artificial intelligence enables rapid content production. This increases competition. In a saturated environment, noise fades quickly. Genuine value persists. If your communication provides clear frameworks, actionable guidance, structured understanding, intellectual depth, audiences return voluntarily. Return engagement signals authority. The difference between authority and influence. Authority comes from position. Influence comes from perception. You may hold formal authority but lack genuine influence. True influence emerges when others seek your opinion, trust your interpretation, adopt your recommendations, advocate your ideas. Influence is voluntary recognition of value. Value before monetization. Many individuals attempt to extract benefit before delivering substance. In digital ecosystems, this is unsustainable. Long-term power requires consistent free value, demonstrated expertise, public intellectual contribution. Monetization follows credibility, not the reverse. Trust must precede transaction. The psychology of reciprocity. Human psychology favors reciprocity. When people receive value, they feel inclined to respond positively through engagement, loyalty, or support. Force triggers resistance. Value triggers reciprocity. Reciprocity builds durable influence networks. Strategic value positioning. Value must align with positioning. If your domain is strategic leadership, your content should provide analytical clarity, decode complex systems, offer forward-thinking insights. Consistency strengthens identity. Random value fragments perception. Structured value reinforces authority. Influence in organizations. Within institutions, leaders who rely on coercion lose credibility. Leaders who provide clear direction, strategic insight, emotional stability, professional growth opportunities, earn loyalty. Loyal teams outperform controlled teams. Influence enhances performance. Digital reputation and value. Online, audiences evaluate quickly. If your content repeatedly clarifies confusion, solves practical problems, elevates understanding, your reputation strengthens. Reputation is cumulative value perception. The ethical foundation. Influence built on manipulation collapses. Influence built on genuine contribution sustains. Ethical value includes honesty, transparency, intellectual rigor, respect. The algorithm may amplify engagement, but long-term influence depends on integrity. The strategic insight. In the age of AI, information is abundant. Attention is scarce. Trust is fragile. Force creates resistance. Value creates allegiance. If you consistently deliver value, your audience grows organically. Your authority compounds. Your influence stabilizes. People follow those who elevate them. Power that uplifts lasts longer than power that pressures. Reflective questions. Does your influence rely on position or contribution? Are you delivering value before asking for loyalty? Does your communication elevate or intimidate? Are you building long-term trust capital? In 2026, influence is chosen, not imposed. Deliver value consistently. And let loyalty emerge voluntarily. Law 19. Create scarcity in a world of abundance. We live in the most abundant informational era in human history. Unlimited content, unlimited tools, unlimited opinions, unlimited noise. Paradoxically, abundance reduces value. When everything is available, nothing feels rare. When nothing feels rare, nothing feels urgent. When nothing feels urgent, attention declines. Power in the age of AI belongs to those who understand scarcity psychology. The scarcity principle. Human psychology assigns greater value to what appears limited. Scarcity triggers. Urgency. Focus. Commitment. Perceived importance. Abundance triggers. Procrastination. Indifference. Comparison. Distraction. In digital ecosystems overflowing with options, perceived rarity differentiates. Artificial abundance. AI has amplified content production dramatically. Anyone can generate articles, videos, designs, summaries, strategies. The supply curve has exploded. When supply increases infinitely, attention becomes selective. Scarcity becomes a strategic filter. Strategic scarcity versus manipulative scarcity. Scarcity must be ethical. There are two forms. Strategic scarcity, limiting access intentionally to preserve quality, exclusivity, or depth. False scarcity, artificial deadlines, and manipulative urgency designed to pressure. The first builds prestige. The second erodes trust. Long-term power requires authenticity. Scarcity of attention. Not all scarcity involves products or access. Scarcity can involve Focus. Access to you. Time. Direct interaction. Leaders who appear available at all times diminish perceived value. Measured access increases authority. Availability without boundaries reduces status. Content scarcity strategy. Instead of producing endless volume, release structured series. Offer limited enrollment programs. Introduce curated insights. Maintain premium intellectual spaces. Quality over quantity increases perceived depth. Abundance without filtering dilutes influence. Community scarcity. Exclusive communities, when genuine, create belonging. Belonging increases loyalty. Selective access signals value. However, exclusivity must be based on contribution or purpose, not ego. Meaningful scarcity strengthens identity alignment. The psychological effect of limitation. When something is limited, people prioritize it. They invest attention. They commit resources. Scarcity reduces hesitation. In contrast, unlimited availability encourages delay. Later becomes never. Intellectual scarcity. In saturated information markets, clarity is rare. You can create scarcity by offering structured frameworks, delivering original synthesis, providing uncommon perspective, maintaining disciplined thought. Depth itself becomes rare. Rarity builds authority. Organizational application. Companies create strategic scarcity through limited product releases, tiered membership structures, controlled partnerships, exclusive events. This enhances prestige. However, overuse of artificial limitation damages brand integrity. Balance is essential. AI and personal brand scarcity. With AI tools, individuals can flood platforms easily. But strategic restraint enhances impact. Do not publish everything instantly. Curate thoughtfully. When audiences anticipate your next release, you have created controlled scarcity. Anticipation is influence. The strategic insight. In the AI era, information is abundant. Attention is limited. Depth is rare. If you contribute endless, undifferentiated output, you dissolve into noise. If you structure limited, high-value releases, you stand out. Scarcity increases perceived importance. But it must be real, anchored in substance, not pressure tactics. Reflective questions. Is your presence abundant or intentional? Are you overproducing without curation? Do you protect your time and access strategically? Is your value positioned as rare or interchangeable? Abundance is common. Rarity is power. Create scarcity ethically. And let perceived value multiply naturally. Law 20. Speak to identity, not logic. Facts inform. Identity persuades. In the age of AI, information is cheap. Arguments can be generated instantly. Data can be retrieved in seconds. Logical reasoning is no longer scarce. Yet, despite overwhelming access to facts, people rarely change their behavior purely because of logic. They change when identity is engaged. Power in 2026 belongs to those who understand that influence operates at the level of self-concept, not statistics. The identity filter. The level of self-concept, not statistics. Every individual filters information through identity. Political identity. Professional identity. Cultural identity. Moral identity. Personal narrative. When new information aligns with identity, it is accepted easily. When it challenges identity, it is resisted even if logically sound. Therefore, if you argue against identity, you create defense. If you speak to identity, you create alignment. the failure of pure rational persuasion. Highly intelligent professionals often rely exclusively on data, market trends, research findings, performance metrics, economic models. While valuable, data alone rarely shifts deeply held positions. Why? Because people defend who they believe they are more fiercely than what they know. Influence requires understanding identity structure, AI and narrative framing. Artificial intelligence can generate persuasive content, but without human calibration, it may miss identity alignment. Effective communication in the AI era requires recognizing audience self-perception, framing ideas within existing belief structures, introducing change gradually. Abrupt identity confrontation triggers resistance. Strategic reframing reduces friction. Identity-based messaging. Instead of saying, "You are wrong," say, "As forward-thinking leaders, we adapt to evolving systems." The second message reinforces identity while introducing change. It shifts from confrontation to alignment. Group identity dynamics. Digital communities amplify identity attachment. Algorithms cluster like-minded individuals. Echo chambers reinforce belief systems. Influence within such environments requires respectful language, shared value signals, clear positioning. Hostility toward identity groups reduces reach and impact. Understanding identity does not require agreement. It requires strategic awareness. Personal brand and identity signaling. Your own identity signals matter. When your positioning reflects clear domain specialization, consistent values, recognizable tone. Audiences associate you with specific traits. Consistency strengthens identity clarity. Identity clarity strengthens influence. Leadership application. In organizations, leaders who align initiatives with employee identity succeed more often. For example, instead of imposing change through metrics alone, frame transformation as aligned with professional pride, organizational mission, shared values. When people see themselves in the change, resistance decreases. Ethical responsibility. Identity-based influence must remain ethical. Manipulating fear, exploiting division, or weaponizing identity fractures trust. Long-term authority depends on respect, inclusion, intellectual honesty. Use identity alignment to elevate, not divide. The strategic insight. In 2026, logic is abundant. Identity is powerful. If you communicate only through facts, you compete with machines. If you connect through identity, you influence humans. Speak to how people see themselves. Frame ideas within their values. Guide transformation without attacking self-concept. Because in the algorithmic world, beliefs spread through emotion and identity, not spreadsheets. Reflective questions. Do you argue with data alone? Are you aware of your audience's identity framework? Does your messaging align with shared values? Are you reinforcing or threatening identity? Powerful communicators understand. To change minds, you must first respect identity. Because in the age of AI, logic informs. Identity moves. Law 21. Master digital storytelling. Data explains. Stories persuade. In the age of AI, raw information is abundant. Charts can be generated instantly. Reports can be summarized in seconds. Analysis can be automated. But stories remain human. Storytelling transforms abstract ideas into emotional experience. It converts theory into memory. It turns information into influence. Power in 2026 belongs to those who can translate complexity into narrative. Why story outperforms statistics? Human cognition evolved through narrative. Before data tables, there were stories. Before research papers, there were parables. Stories. Simplify complexity. Create emotional resonance. Improve retention. Establish relatability. Strengthen trust. A single well-structured story often influences more effectively than a page of statistics. AI may provide data. You must provide meaning. The architecture of effective storytelling. Strong digital storytelling includes context. Where does this situation occur? Conflict. What challenge or tension exists? Transformation. What insight or shift emerges? Resolution. What lesson or action follows? Without tension, there is no engagement. Without resolution, there is no value. The AI-enhanced narrative. Artificial intelligence can assist with draft structure, language clarity, content organization, visual enhancement. However, authenticity cannot be automated. Your lived experience, domain expertise, and intellectual synthesis give stories depth. Machines assist structure. Humans provide soul. Narrative and authority. Authority is not merely built on correctness. It is built on the ability to explain complex systems clearly. Illustrate strategic principles through examples. Connect theory with real-world application. Story bridges knowledge and comprehension. When audiences understand you easily, they trust you more. Emotional resonance. Stories activate emotional memory. When people feel inspiration, recognition, relief, aspiration, they internalize the message. Emotional resonance increases engagement. Engagement increases algorithmic amplification. Amplification increases influence. Digital environment dynamics. Online audiences have limited attention spans. Therefore, storytelling must be structured, concise, clear, relevant. Length alone does not create depth. Clarity does. Open with context. Introduce tension quickly. Deliver insight early. Retention depends on pacing. Storytelling as strategic positioning. When you consistently tell stories within your domain, you reinforce expertise. You differentiate from generic voices. You humanize complex concepts. Storytelling strengthens personal brand identity. It makes you memorable. Memorability increases influence. The danger of fabrication. In pursuit of engagement, some fabricate or exaggerate stories. This damages credibility. Authenticity is non-negotiable. True influence is built on trust. Trust requires honesty. Organizational application. Within institutions, storytelling strengthens leadership. Leaders who communicate vision through narrative, share lessons through experience, frame challenges as shared journeys, build cohesion. Data informs strategy. Story mobilizes people. AI-era narrative advantage. In a world where AI generates informational content easily, authentic storytelling differentiates human leaders. While machines replicate structure, they cannot replicate lived depth. Your advantage is not information. It is interpretation. The strategic insight. In 2026, everyone has data. Few have narrative clarity. If you want influence, tell structured stories. Anchor them in insight. Align them with identity. Connect them to action. Storytelling transforms knowledge into power. Because in the algorithmic world, data attracts curiosity. Story builds loyalty. Loyalty builds influence. Reflective questions. Do you communicate through data alone? Can you translate complex ideas into relatable stories? Are your stories structured with tension and resolution? Is your storytelling aligned with your authority positioning? Master digital storytelling. Because those who explain clearly lead naturally, and those who lead naturally shape systems. Law 22. Be predictable in ethics, unpredictable in strategy. Stability builds trust. Surprise creates advantage. In the age of AI, reputation spreads instantly and competition reacts rapidly. If you are unpredictable in your values, you lose credibility. If you are predictable in your tactics, you lose leverage. Power requires balance. Be consistent in principles. Be adaptive in execution. Ethical predictability builds trust capital. In digital ecosystems, audiences observe patterns. They notice how you respond under pressure, how you treat critics, how you handle conflict, how you communicate during uncertainty. When your ethical stance remains consistent, people feel secure. Security fosters trust. Trust stabilizes influence. Unstable ethics create doubt. Doubt reduces authority. The cost of ethical inconsistency. In the AI era, digital memory is permanent. Past statements resurface. Contradictions are archived. Reputation can be challenged instantly. If your values shift opportunistically, credibility erodes. Strategic actors understand. Principles must be anchored. Tactics may evolve. Ethics should not. Strategic unpredictability. While ethics must remain consistent, strategy must remain fluid. If competitors can predict your every move, they prepare defenses. Unpredictability in strategy includes innovating formats, entering new markets, adjusting communication style, testing unconventional ideas, timing releases strategically. Adaptation prevents stagnation. AI and tactical flexibility. Artificial intelligence accelerates environmental change. Trends shift quickly. Audience preferences evolve. Technological tools update rapidly. Rigid strategy collapses under acceleration. Flexible execution ensures survival. The leadership balance. Strong leaders demonstrate clear values, consistent tone, reliable judgment. But they also adapt to market signals, shift positioning intelligently, reframe challenges creatively. Predictable ethics reassure followers. Strategic unpredictability keeps competitors uncertain. Psychological advantage. When audiences trust your moral compass, they grant you flexibility. They allow experimentation. When competitors cannot anticipate your moves, they hesitate. Hesitation creates opportunity. Opportunity builds dominance. Avoiding tactical rigidity. Many professionals confuse consistency with repetition. Consistency is value alignment. Repetition without evolution is stagnation. To remain influential, retain core identity. Innovate within that identity. Refresh approach regularly. Evolution signals growth. Crisis scenario application. During controversy or disruption. Ethical predictability means honest communication, calm tone, transparent reasoning. Strategic unpredictability means swift repositioning, alternative distribution channels, adaptive messaging. Integrity stabilizes, flexibility protects. Organizational power. Institutions that maintain ethical clarity but innovate strategically outperform rigid competitors. Core mission remains stable. Execution evolves continuously. This dual structure strengthens long-term resilience. The strategic insight. In 2026, algorithms evolve. Markets shift. Audiences adapt. If your ethics shift, trust collapses. If your strategy stagnates, influence declines. Be morally steady. Be tactically agile. Predictable values build loyalty. Unpredictable strategy creates competitive edge. Reflective questions. Are your principles consistent under pressure? Do your actions align with your declared values? Are competitors able to predict your moves easily? Have you balanced stability with innovation? Power requires dual mastery. Ethical stability. Strategic agility. Anchor your principles. Adapt your methods. And remain both trusted and formidable. Law 23. Polarization creates tribes. Neutrality earns approval. Polarization builds loyalty. In the digital age, attention is fragmented. Audiences are overwhelmed. Countless voices compete for visibility. In such an environment, moderate positioning often fades into background noise. Strong positioning attracts alignment. Alignment creates tribes. And tribes create power. The nature of tribal behavior. Humans are inherently tribal. They seek belonging, shared identity, common purpose, clear boundaries. Digital ecosystems amplify this instinct. Algorithms cluster like-minded individuals. Content reinforces shared beliefs. Communities form around ideas, leaders, and narratives. Tribal alignment strengthens engagement. Engagement increases visibility. Visibility builds influence. The power of clear positioning. If your stance is vague, audiences struggle to categorize you. If your stance is clear, they either align or disengage. Disengagement is not failure. Indifference is. Clear positioning signals confidence. Confidence attracts commitment. The difference between polarization and extremism. Polarization does not require hostility. It requires clarity. You can take strong positions respectfully. Advocate principles without aggression. Critique systems without attacking individuals. Strategic polarization draws boundaries around ideas, not people. Extremism alienates. Clarity attracts. Identity reinforcement. When audiences align with your ideas, they internalize them as part of their identity. This creates loyalty, advocacy, organic amplification. People defend what reflects who they believe they are. Tribal identity strengthens influence durability. The risk of overpolarization. Excessive antagonism narrows reach. If positioning becomes combative or dismissive, expansion slows. Strategic polarization should define values clearly. Distinguish perspective. Avoid unnecessary hostility. The goal is cohesion, not chaos. AI and echo chambers. Artificial intelligence algorithms amplify engagement patterns. If your content consistently resonates with a defined group, the algorithm delivers more of it to similar individuals. This strengthens tribal consolidation. However, leaders must remain aware of echo chamber risks. Blind reinforcement reduces intellectual growth. Leadership through tribe building. Strong leaders cultivate communities, not audiences. Communities share language, symbols, values, repeated themes. Tribes create social reinforcement. Reinforcement increases resilience against external criticism. Strategic application. To build tribes ethically. Articulate core values consistently. Reinforce shared identity themes. Provide collective language. Create participatory environments. People remain loyal when they feel seen. Organizational context. Brands that cultivate strong communities outperform transactional competitors. Customers become advocates. Advocates defend and promote voluntarily. This reduces dependency on paid visibility. Community loyalty is strategic insulation. Ethical responsibility. Tribal influence must avoid. Manipulation. Division for personal gain. Exploitation of fear. Power built on division collapses. Power built on shared purpose sustains. The strategic insight. In the age of AI, algorithms reward engagement. Engagement thrives on identity alignment. Identity alignment strengthens tribal bonds. If you attempt to please everyone, you become forgettable. If you stand for something clearly, you attract alignment. Polarization, when principled and measured, creates community. Community creates loyalty. Loyalty creates power. Reflective questions. Is your positioning clear or diluted? Do people know what you stand for? Are you building an audience or a tribe? Is your polarization principled or emotional? Neutral voices fade quickly. Distinct voices endure. Stand clearly. Define values. Build community. Because tribes protect influence and influence shapes systems. Law 24. Confidence outperforms credentials. Degrees impress. Confidence persuades. In the industrial era, credentials signaled competence. Titles, certifications, institutional affiliations, these functioned as gatekeepers of authority. In the AI age, information is searchable. Knowledge is accessible. Expertise can be evaluated quickly. Credentials still matter, but they no longer guarantee influence. Confidence, when grounded in competence, shapes perception more powerfully than certificates alone. The credential saturation effect. Today, millions hold degrees. Certifications are abundant. Online courses multiply daily. Professional titles are easily displayed. This creates saturation. When credentials become common, differentiation shifts to delivery. Two professionals may hold identical qualifications. The one who communicates with clarity, conviction, and composure commands greater authority. Perception amplifies presence. The psychology of confidence. Humans instinctively interpret confidence as competence. While this assumption is not always accurate, it shapes behavior. Confident communication signals. Certainty. Preparedness. Experience. Stability. Hesitation signals doubt, even when knowledge exists. In digital environments, tone travels instantly. Confidence increases engagement. AI and the leveling of knowledge. Artificial intelligence enables individuals without formal credentials to access sophisticated analysis. This shifts the competitive landscape. You can no longer rely solely on academic background for influence. You must interpret knowledge effectively, communicate persuasively, position yourself clearly. The ability to synthesize and present confidently becomes critical. Confidence without arrogance. There is a difference between confidence and arrogance. Confidence reflects calm assurance. Invites dialogue. Signals intellectual maturity. Arrogance. Dismisses alternative views. Exaggerates certainty. Alienates audiences. Sustainable power requires balanced confidence. Leadership dimension. Within organizations, employees respond more strongly to leaders who project calm authority. Even during uncertainty, composed confidence stabilizes teams. If a leader appears unsure, anxiety spreads. Trust declines. Productivity weakens. Confidence under pressure signals control. Control attracts respect. The communication advantage. Confidence influences. Negotiations. Public speaking. Digital content creation. Strategic announcements. Conflict resolution. The tone you project shapes how others evaluate your expertise. Even in written communication, clarity and decisiveness matter. Avoid overqualifying every statement. Speak with structured certainty. Competence first, then confidence. Confidence must rest on preparation. Artificial bravado without knowledge collapses under scrutiny. Build competence privately. Express confidence publicly. The combination creates durable authority. Reputation in the AI era. Algorithms amplify strong signals. Clear positioning and confident communication generate engagement. Uncertain tone reduces amplification. Confidence strengthens personal brand identity. Over time, perception aligns with presentation. Strategic presence. Confidence is not loudness. It is clear articulation, measured pacing, structured reasoning, calm delivery. Those who speak decisively appear authoritative. Authority attracts opportunity. The ethical boundary. Confidence must not distort truth. Admit uncertainty where appropriate. Strategic confidence includes intellectual humility. Saying, "I will analyze this further," confidently signals strength, not weakness. Authenticity sustains trust. The strategic insight. In 2026, credentials open doors. Confidence keeps them open. Information is accessible to all. Delivery differentiates. If you possess knowledge but communicate timidly, influence declines. If you communicate clearly and confidently, grounded in competence, you shape perception. Confidence signals leadership. Leadership signals authority. Authority generates power. Reflective questions. Do you rely solely on credentials for influence? Does your communication project certainty or hesitation? Is your confidence supported by preparation? Do you balance assurance with humility? In the algorithmic world, competence is required. Confidence is amplified. Develop both. Because those who project clarity lead naturally, and those who lead naturally shape systems. Part 4. Economic and Structural Power. Law 25. Own assets, not just income. Income sustains you. Assets empower you. In every era, the distinction between earning and owning has separated workers from wealth builders, employees from architects, participants from controllers. In the age of AI, this distinction becomes even sharper. If you depend solely on income streams you must constantly work for, you remain economically vulnerable. If you build assets that operate independently of your daily effort, you accumulate structural power. The fragility of earned income. Earned income is linear. You work, you are paid. You stop, income stops. In volatile digital economies, this structure creates vulnerability. Job automation risk. Market downturn. Platform monetization shifts. Client dependency. Income is important, but income alone does not create leverage. The nature of assets in 2026. Assets in the AI era include digital intellectual property, courses and knowledge libraries, subscription communities, proprietary data systems, software tools, automated business models, equity in scalable ventures. Assets generate value beyond direct labor. They continue producing even when you are not actively engaged. AI and asset creation. Artificial intelligence reduces barriers to asset development. You can package expertise into digital products. Build automated content ecosystems. Create recurring revenue structures. Develop data-driven tools. The tools exist. The differentiation lies in strategy. Those who leverage AI to build assets early gain compounding advantage. The ownership principle. Ownership creates control. Control creates negotiation power. If you own your distribution channels, your intellectual frameworks, your community infrastructure, your digital property, you negotiate from strength. If you rely solely on salary or platform revenue, your leverage declines. The asset mindset. The shift requires psychological transformation. Instead of asking, how can I earn more? Ask, what can I build that continues earning? Instead of maximizing monthly income, maximize scalable structures. Income is consumption fuel. Assets are freedom engines. Institutional parallel. Companies that own platforms dominate markets. They control infrastructure, data, and distribution. Similarly, individuals who build asset portfolios gain long-term autonomy. Autonomy strengthens strategic flexibility. The compounding effect. Assets compound. Each digital product strengthens brand authority. Each community strengthens network value. Each intellectual framework increases perceived expertise. Over time, asset ecosystems reinforce one another. This compounding builds economic insulation. Defensive economics. In uncertain environments, asset ownership reduces risk. If one revenue source declines, others stabilize. Diversified assets create resilience. Resilience supports strategic boldness. Ethical consideration. Asset creation must align with value delivery. Exploitative models collapse. Sustainable assets provide real benefit, transparent structure, ongoing value. Power built on exploitation destabilizes. Power built on contribution stabilizes. The strategic insight. In the age of AI, labor is replaceable. Systems scale. Ownership endures. Income maintains survival. Assets create independence. If you build only income streams, you remain reactive. If you build assets, you become proactive. Power follows ownership. Ownership creates leverage. Leverage creates freedom. Reflective questions. What assets do you currently own? Are you building systems beyond salary or project income? Does your work generate long-term intellectual property? Are you designing recurring structures? Economic power in 2026 belongs to builders. Build assets. Because income feeds you. Ownership frees you. Law 26. Data is the ultimate asset. Land created empires. Capital built corporations. Data builds dominance. In the age of AI, data is not merely supportive, it is foundational. Every intelligent system depends on it. Every predictive model is trained on it. Every strategic decision is strengthened by it. If assets create leverage, data creates foresight. And foresight creates power. Why data surpasses traditional assets? Traditional assets, real estate, machinery, inventory, are finite and localized. Data is scalable, replicable, transferable, continuously generated. Infinitely refinable. Unlike physical resources, data improves with use. The more data you collect and analyze, the more intelligent your system becomes. Intelligence compounds. Data as predictive capital. The true value of data lies not in storage, but in prediction. Predictive data enables anticipation of customer behavior, risk modeling, market timing, performance optimization, personalized engagement. Prediction reduces uncertainty. Reduced uncertainty strengthens decision-making. Decision advantage is structural power. The individual-level data advantage. You do not need a global corporation to leverage data. Even at personal or small enterprise level, you can collect audience engagement metrics, behavioral patterns, conversion insights, learning performance indicators, feedback trends. Structured tracking reveals patterns invisible to intuition alone. Intuition is valuable. Data refines intuition. AI and data intelligence. Artificial intelligence transforms data into insight. Through AI, you can detect subtle correlations, identify emerging patterns, model hypothetical outcomes, optimize workflows, segment audiences precisely. Without structured data, AI remains underutilized. With structured data, AI becomes a strategic amplifier. Data ownership versus data dependency. If platforms hold all your audience data, you lack strategic depth. Ownership of data provides independent analysis, direct communication, long-term insight continuity. Dependency limits foresight. Strategic actors build internal analytics frameworks, data and competitive moats. Organizations that control unique datasets create defensive barriers. Competitors may replicate products. They cannot replicate proprietary data easily. This creates competitive insulation. In the AI era, data exclusivity becomes strategic defense. Ethical data governance. Data is powerful but sensitive. Responsible data practice includes consent, security, transparency, respect for privacy. Unethical data exploitation damages trust irreparably. Power must coexist with responsibility. Data discipline. Data must be organized, clean, structured, interpreted regularly. Accumulation without analysis creates clutter, not advantage. Regular review converts information into intelligence. Long-term strategic leverage. As data accumulates over years, patterns deepen. Predictive accuracy improves. Strategic timing sharpens. Efficiency increases. Long-term data continuity builds durable dominance. The strategic insight. In 2026, information is abundant. Insight is rare. Prediction is powerful. Data transforms guesswork into foresight. If you ignore data, you react. If you own and analyze data, you anticipate. Anticipation creates leverage. Leverage creates dominance. Reflective questions. What meaningful data do you currently track? Do you interpret patterns or rely on intuition alone? Are you dependent on external dashboards? Is your data structured for long-term insight? Data is no longer optional. It is infrastructure. Own it. Organize it. Interpret it. Because in the algorithmic age, the future belongs to those who can see it forming. Law 27. Automation multiplies authority. Authority once depended on presence. In the AI age, authority depends on systems. If your influence requires your constant physical or mental presence, it is limited. If your ideas, frameworks, and responses operate even in your absence, your authority multiplies. Automation is not about laziness. It is about scale. From presence to persistence. Traditional authority relied on visibility in real time. In-person teaching. Live leadership. Manual communication. Direct oversight. Today, automation enables persistence. Pre-recorded intellectual assets. Automated response systems. Scheduled distribution. Intelligent workflows. Your voice can operate continuously. Continuous presence strengthens perceived dominance. Authority as structured output. Authority increases when your ideas are accessible, consistent, structured, repeatable. Automation ensures regular communication, predictable engagement, consistent brand tone, data-informed adjustments. When audiences experience structured consistency, they associate it with professionalism and reliability. Reliability builds trust. Trust builds authority. AI as authority amplifier. Artificial intelligence enhances automation by generating structured drafts, analyzing performance patterns, optimizing timing, personalizing communication, detecting engagement shifts. Used strategically, AI transforms isolated output into scalable systems. The individual who integrates AI into automated authority frameworks outpaces competitors relying on manual effort alone. Psychological effect of ubiquity. When your ideas appear consistently across multiple platforms, regular intervals, structured formats, you create perceived ubiquity. Ubiquity reinforces expertise. Expertise signals dominance. Dominance shapes perception. The discipline behind automation. Automation does not remove responsibility. It requires initial design, clear structure, periodic refinement, ethical oversight. Poorly designed automation damages credibility. Strategic automation enhances it. Automation and time leverage. Time is finite. Automation multiplies time by reducing repetitive tasks, streamlining workflows, enabling simultaneous distribution. Free time can be reinvested in strategy, creativity, and innovation. Authority grows when attention shifts from execution to architecture. Organizational application. Institutions that automate intelligently. Scale operations. Maintain quality control. Improve responsiveness. Reduce human error. Leaders who design automated systems increase institutional stability. Stability strengthens leadership authority. The risk of over-automation. Excessive automation can reduce authenticity. Authority requires human presence at critical moments. Balance is essential. Automate structure. Humanize interaction. Machines sustain frequency. Humans sustain depth. Economic implication. Automation increases margin. Higher margin enables reinvestment, expansion, risk tolerance, strategic experimentation. Economic flexibility reinforces authority. Authority reinforced by financial stability becomes resilient. The strategic insight. In 2026, manual effort is limited. Automated systems scale infinitely. If your authority depends solely on your availability, it is fragile. If your authority is embedded in structured systems, it persists. Automation transforms presence into permanence. Permanence builds influence. Influence becomes power. Reflective questions. Are your systems dependent entirely on you? What repetitive processes can be automated? Have you integrated AI into your authority building strategy? Are you balancing automation with authenticity? Automation is not replacement. It is multiplication. Design systems that carry your influence forward, even when you are not actively speaking. Because in the AI age, sustained presence defines dominance. Law 28.